Alright, welcome to the Technobabble Alpha presentation. This is our main menu here. Go through our options, see our controls, the layout of our button mapping. So, sound, volume sliders, you can adjust the volume that way. No credits, thanks to everyone who worked on the game. So, this build has 3 levels for us here. We'll go ahead and start with the beach. Now, the beach is sort of meant as a introductory tutorial style level, so that's why we have these helpful text box sort of guide the player in their first moments in the game. You know, teach them how to jump, teach them how to boost. Basically our core basic systems. We introduce the player to them both in scenarios where it would be helpful to use them, as well as sort of more explicitly tell them, hey, this is how you do that thing. So here we see our first enemy and our use of our combo system there. That right there was a checkpoint, so should we fail, we'd go back to that point. See another grunt over here, take him down the same way. See, in Technobabble, a very large part of the game is our grinding system, where we can grind along railings to gain faster speed as well as accumulate boost. So the player is encouraged to sort of alternate between grinding and running to keep their top speed up. And here we see our tether. This allows the player to sort of zero in on a target, home in on them, and it affords the player enormous amounts of mobility as well as extra techniques to use in combat. That we just picked up, that speaker, is a health pickup that is occasionally dropped by enemies that restores a portion of the player's health when collected. Alright, and that is the first level of Technobabble completed. Alright, so back to the menu. We go ahead and jump into the second level of the game, the Transportation District.
Unauthorized levels of funk detected.
What you saw there was a ground slam. So at the cost of a portion of the player's boost, they can choose to do a devastating slam on the ground, which will instantly defeat these sort of basic grunt enemies. Here we have a number 1 stunner. It's our ranged enemy. And that is a rail runner to threaten players who sort of mindlessly grind on rails without looking ahead. Here, a whammy bar. It slams the ground, creating shockwaves that force the player to jump over them. Just taking a moment to appreciate the scenery here. As you can tell, Technobabble takes place in a very bright and colorful futuristic city that is just chock full with colors and foliage.
Unauthorized levels of fog detected. Unauthorized levels of fog detected. Unauthorized levels of
Here we have our first boss of the game, called Overhaul. He's an enormous, hulking enemy who can control and terraform the ground. He is only vulnerable on his head, so the player has to grapple their way up to the top using their tether technique and hit him on the head with a ground slam. Aside from his terrain-style attacks, he's also capable of summoning waves of enemies. Alright, and with Overhaul defeated, it is on to the next level. Now, this final portion of the game is the Housing District. It's the most densely populated portion of New Frontier.
Unauthorized levels of fog detected.
With the denser population in people and structures comes a denser population of enemies alongside it. Way out in the distance there, we can see a flower-like structure. That is actually the power plant that we are headed to.
Unauthorized levels of funk detected.
Alright. Picked up our fire mixtape to defeat the remix police with, so that clears the way for us to make progress going forward.
Unauthorized levels of funk detected.
Now, this portion of the city is where a lot of the residents of New Frontier live. As we can see, it's very tightly packed, honeycomb-style apartments to maximize space.
Unauthorized levels of funk detected.
Missed that jump, but thankfully there's a checkpoint right here. Alright, so this guy right here is the final boss of the game. He is Surge. And he is threatening the city's power plant right now, so we're on our way up there to stop him, but he won't make it easy on us. He's going to be tossing these plasma balls to try to beat us on the way there. Alright, now we're in his domain. Plugging himself into the tower, he's got access to a lot of juice, so he's able to summon lightning from the sky as well as keep these cables electrically charged. So the way to stop him is we're going to have to cause his own lightning to strike the generators, freeing up the rails to be grinded on, allowing us to get in close and deal some damage. Of course, he won't take a beating for too long laying still, so he's going to pull up his barrier after a little bit, force us to go back, and survive his onslaught of lightning once again. And with Surge defeated, that is the alpha build of Technobabble. So, go ahead and pull up another shot of our final credit screen here. Thank you very much to everyone who is involved in the project.